welcome to Unleash Your Beauty, Discover Your Power Within. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We're incorporating a program in called A Sister's Table Talk, where we talk about some personal issues, not so much about business. This is my co-host, Pamela Burks. She's my co-host for today, and she's my sister, one that I have met and have fallen in love with as a sister.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much. I would not have missed this opportunity for the world.
So, you know what? We're going to talk about some different things about sisterhood. And my guest, Pamela Burks, has a different experience than I do. And so that's what I'm doing here. We're going to polarize around the same topic, but we're going to give different aspects about our lives as sisters and our lives as not being sisters. So, Pamela, how are you today?
I'm doing fine. I have two sisters, two blood sisters that I was born with. They are twins with one another. So, to have two of them running around and you're trying to keep, I'm trying to keep my jewelry and my necklaces and they're trying to wear my clothes and play in them and all that other kind of stuff. So,
yes.
But then I also have other sisters that are sisters I chose. Women that are part of my life and they are sisters to me just as much as my blood sisters are, because we chose to be in one another's life. We chose to do life with one another. And so there's a difference when you start talking about family, especially once you get past the age of, 10.
Yes.
You start looking at family a little bit different. Family are the people who love you, and family are the people that you love. Sometimes, depending upon the family, sometimes that's not the ones that you're blood related to.
Yes.
So it happens when you finally decide who your family actually is. Sometimes they incorporate people other than just your blood family.
Yes. Now, I was born and lived as a single child for until I was about 21, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And I had foster sisters off and on from the time I was about 17. That was a challenge, like you said, the jewelry, the clothes, sneaking into my room in which I had to put a lock to keep them out.
Yes.
But it was okay because I had an age range of a newborn. No, Shonda was 9 months old, and then the oldest was maybe 15.
Okay.
So that was a huge age range.
Yeah.
And there were 5 of them at one time. Yes, it was very
At least
difficult.
It was and with the three of us, I couldn't find a corner of my own where I couldn't get away from those two little girls.
Yes. But think, I had grown up as an only child.
Yeah, that had to be hard.
That was shocking.
Yeah.
To say the least. But it was a lot of fun because I did learn a lot about being with a larger family in the home. And it was a challenge, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. You learn how to share differently.
Yes.
You learn how to come to somebody else's backyard, as we used to call it.
Oh.
You bring some toys to somebody else's backyard, but you don't bring all your toys because invariably something gets broken, lost, or stolen.
Yes.
So you learn how to share, what to share, which is not unlike relationships with people. When you meet new people, when you meet new friends, you learn what to share and what not to share. You learn how soon to open up and share more and not share as much. So all of that kind of stuff comes out of the relationships that you have with sisters.
Yes.
And the friendships that you have and even into the love relationships that you have. You learn how to pace yourself to allow people into your life and how you enter into other people's lives.
Yes.
That all comes from just learning that whole being sister, being together.
Yes, it does. And there are different seasons also in your sisterhood.
Yeah.
And I had those challenges with, like I said, that big age range that we had in the house. So there were different seasons of our relationships. And even today, there are still 2 of them who are really close to me. One of them married one of my cousins. And so we became closer in another
way. Yeah.
And so it was an amazing experience.
Yeah. Experiences draw you closer or further apart from people, depending upon how those experiences affected you and affected them.
Yes. So living in the house with sisters most of your life.
Mm-hmm.
How did that affect you socially?
Well, I was the older sister, but I was the shy one.
Mm-hmm.
My twin sisters were gregarious. They were out and they wanted to meet everybody and hi and da da da. And I was the one that was kind of reserved, sitting in the back. It wasn't that I was afraid to talk to people. It's just that I was one of those kids who didn't say something unless I had something to say.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the kids that were around me, not just my sisters, but the other kids that were around me, wanted to meet everybody and they wanted to talk to everybody. And I didn't want to meet everybody and I didn't want to talk to everybody. I didn't. And so I find that as I've gotten older, I'm still a little more reserved.
Mm-hmm.
I still kind of stay to the background. I get to know you before I get to, to get to know you. Exactly. And my sisters are still very gregarious, very outgoing. They want to get to know people and they come into a room and they want to meet everybody and know everybody and talk to everybody. And I do too.
Mm-hmm.
But my pace is different.
Yes.
And so I've learned that through my experiences with having people in the house with me, I've learned that I need a little more personal space.
Mm-hmm.
And there are times when I need to sit and reflect when everybody else is kind of, talking, chattering, going, doing, and I need a little bit of time. But I learned that because of my involvement with other people. I learned that that's what I need. And even when I got married, I told my husband, because we got married a little older, we were in our 40s when I got married, and I was like, okay, look, let's figure this out. I said, let me tell you something. I said, I'm not one of those girlies that wants to be all up under you 24/7. No, do I want you up under me? I said, I like to cuddle and play and everything. I said, but there are going to be times when I need my space.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, we are the same kind of person.
That's
and so he feels the same way. He needs his space. But I never would have known to figure that out in relationships if I hadn't had that experience with my sisters.
Yes, yes. And a lot of times that determines how or who we marry also.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like you said, you found what my social studies teacher used to call the opposite sex other.
The opposite sex other?
Other,
okay.
The opposite sex other.
Okay.
And he explained that to us, and he said that whenever you find someone who is like yourself but the opposite sex, that is who you should be with. Mm-hmm. So that's what you found.
That's what I found. It took a while, but that's what I found. And sometimes, for women who are saying, "Man, I haven't found my guy yet," it may take a minute for the two of you to find each other because your uniqueness just hasn't floated together yet. So don't give up. Don't give up.
But what about also, because we don't really know ourselves and we rush into relationships, because I've done that, we rush into relationships, and because we don't know ourselves, we end up having this head-on-head battle, and it doesn't work out.
Yeah, because we go towards what we think we're supposed to go towards, or towards what somebody told us we were supposed to go towards. And then when we get into that relationship, we're like, ooh, this isn't what I had planned.
So how does that work out, even as far as your sisters are concerned, even in relationships such as we've developed over time, being able to discuss those types of things?
Right, being able to share honestly. And here's the deal, there's always a way. My mother used to say, there's a way you can tell me anything, because my mother was very much old school. So there were certain things you talked to my mother a certain way. It was yes ma'am, no ma'am. She said, but you can tell me. She said, you can tell me if I'm getting on your nerves as long as you know how to say it.
Yes.
And so there's a way to talk to just about anybody. You have to be respectful of that person's feelings. And just because they're a sister or a brother doesn't mean you can just up and be mean and curt and rude and disrespectful and hurtful. And the whole idea of being brutally honest. Well, I'm going to be honest with you because you're my sister. Yes. Look, be considerate of that other person. You can be honest without cutting them to shreds, because nobody wants to be cut to shreds. So if you're going to be my sister, you're going to be concerned about my feelings.
Yes.
And I'm going to be concerned about yours. And I can tell you if your hair is up in the air flying around like that. But I can tell you that without saying, girl, you look a mess, a hot mess,
Yes.
you know, that kind of thing. So it's just it's learning how to
Yes.
be respectful of one another. And if you really are true sisters like you and I are, you care about what people feel.
Yes.
And you're not going to say anything that's going to hurt them, but you're going to be honest enough with them so that they get the truth.
Yes. And I remember when I first left Florida, and our relationship didn't end, but I felt like it did not, and because it was so abrupt, I knew I'd hurt your feelings. And it hurt my feelings because I hurt your feelings. I felt so bad. And then I came back to Florida again, and I left again abruptly. We had made all these wonderful plans.
You just disappeared on me.
And it hurt me because I knew I hurt your feelings. And I knew you were my sister because I could feel your pain. And I was like, oh no, I gotta get back. I hope you'll forgive me. And I'm just, I'm thankful we had that type of relationship, that we're mature enough to know that the other cares.
Yeah.
Even though we mess up, because I had messed up.
Well, the thing is, nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
You're going to make mistakes. You are going to inadvertently, mistakenly hurt somebody's feelings throughout your entire life.
Yes.
But like you said, the maturity of being able to say, you know what, I messed up. I messed up. Let's go have lunch. So the ability to be able to be honest with one another, even when you mess up, means that the relationship can sustain the what I call the wind and the rain, the snow and the sleet.
Yes.
Because all of those things are going to come. Life comes at you. And, just like the seasons come and all the seasons flow through a relationship, and they do it multiple times. Sometimes it's going to be winter.
Yes.
And it's going to be cold and it's going to be brittle.
But nothing's blooming.
Nothing's blooming. And then sometimes it's going to be summer and it's going to be warm and sunshiny and it's going to be beautiful. But the point is, if you get mad in the winter, you don't get to the spring and the summer.
Yes.
So you've got to allow enough elasticity in that relationship so that you can get through the cold and the brittle. So you can start to get to the warm, get a little sunshine, warm things up a little bit, and then you can get to the summer and just have a good time.
Yes. And let the rains come and feed and
they nurture.
Moisten the soil so that you can go on to another season. Because if you don't, you're in trouble, and that soil gets hard.
Oh yeah, what we all know is the hardened heart.
Yes.
And once the hardened heart's hit, and you're like, I'm never talking to her again.
Yeah.
Then it's over.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So you've got, like you said, you've got to have the spring and the fall.
Yes.
You got to be able to warm up. You got to allow things to cool down a little bit, and then you get through the summer and the winter.
Yes.
As the things that build the relationship. To balance it out.
Now we'll be back in just a few moments with some more of a Sister's Table Talk. Okay, that was good. Okay, now we are back with the Sister's Table Talk. And we're having a good time here talking about relationships.
We are.
Ups and downs of relationships between women. Ups and downs between girls. Then to women.
That's right.
And the seasonal changes. So let's talk about longevity.
Sometimes you have friends forever.
Yes.
That BFF, best friend forever.
Yes.
There are some friends you have for a lifetime. And then there are other people that you have just for a season. And sometimes that's for a reason.
Yes.
But other times it's because we didn't nurture the relationship well. Or we let that winter that winter set in and harden the heart. Yes. And we prematurely ended a relationship that could have been for a long period of time.
Yeah.
A lot of people that I know have asked me, they're like, you've got friendships that have lasted 20, 30 years. I was like, yeah, I do. And I'm like, how do you get somebody to be your friend for that long? And I was like, well, first of all, I have to respect the fact that they're human. And in respecting the fact that they're human, it means they're going to make mistakes, and I can't put them up on this little pedestal and say, oh, you're going to act like this, you're going to do like this, you're going to treat me like this, we're going to talk like this, and so forth. And that's going to happen forever, because nothing happens forever. But a relationship can last long term when you allow people to grow, to change, to make mistakes, and to say, I'm sorry, and honestly and truly forgive them.
Yes.
So the longevity comes from you living life with people,
Yes.
not just living a moment with them.
And you know, a lot of times in my experiences, I've had people, I shouldn't just say in my experience, but a lot of people have had people misjudge them. Even just on something that you say in an emotional state. And
you get mad.
Yeah, and but everybody has emotions, you know. And one of the things that I used to say to people is, "Okay, are you over it now?" And they would look at me like they would blast me, man.
Yeah, they're like,
And
that
I
was
said-
so cold,
I
that
said-
was so rude.
Yeah,
But that's an honest question.
and I'm like, they would curse me out, and I said, "Okay, are you over it? You finished?" And they look at me like I'd lost my mind. No, I hadn't lost my mind. I know everybody has a moment,
Yeah.
and it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you said, accept them as human beings, and this is the way we're wired.
And I have had that very same statement said to me, and I was bull snorting mad when somebody said that to me. But what it did was it woke me up. It caused me to think, because I was crawling into a funk, a little personal funk, you know, and the response, you know, after I thought about it, I was like, well, okay, how long have I been in this? Am I over this yet? Oh my God.
Yes.
How long have I been doing this, you know? And it shook me up, you know. It was just enough to shake me up a little bit and make me realize, okay, you've gone too far down this path, you know. And especially when you've been in a situation, that particular situation for me was, I'd been hurt. I had been hurt through betrayal. And so I was just going to patch all my little wounds up. And I wasn't going to get hurt ever again. You wasn't going to get in. You wasn't going to get in. And I was at it. I was going at it. But I was actually in a funk. And that response that hit me, you know, it's like, so you done now?
Yes.
Like, you know, you punched everybody you can punch. You good now?
Yeah.
Is it over? And I'm like, how dare you? How could you? You know, I get all offended and stuff. But then I realized now, so I had to call her. And I had to say, okay, yeah, I'm done. You know how you do that? You kind of hang your head and you go, I'm done. And I got over it. But what I didn't do is I didn't get mad at her for saying it. Because she was the one. You know, you got that one best friend.
Yes.
And she was the one who could poke me like that and say, stop it.
Yes.
That's enough.
Yeah.
You know, you need to move on. That's enough. And it made a difference, because that turned me around right then, and then I got on a better path. I actually climbed out of the funk.
Isn't that amazing?
It is.
But you know, a lot of times people will say something and we don't get over it. But if we would allow people to vent, just allow it, let it go, let it out. Don't you think there'd be even fewer diseases?
Well,
Stress.
Definitely be fewer.
Stress,
But
stress, you know, holding all of that in.
Because a lot of times when you got something going on in your world, you just need to get it out of your system, because you haven't been heard.
Yes.
Nobody's heard you. They heard everybody else's side of whatever went on, but nobody's truly sat down, listened to, paid attention, and heard you.
Yes.
And if you've got somebody you can sit down, rant, rave, scream and holler, and get it out of your system so that you can be heard, then you can start to get past it. You can get beyond it. And that's what I hadn't done. I hadn't gotten past it. I was still in it.
Yes.
And, you know, once I, you know, and I did my own little rant and rave. I called her up. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. She was like, what? Do you know? Okay, what is it? You know, I mean, and that's the whole thing. It's like she knew.
Right.
She knew what was
Right.
in it. She was like, okay, all right. So let's talk. What's what's going on? Don't worry about it. Just talk.
Yeah.
Just talk. And you get it out. You get it, but you gotta have a safe haven for that.
Mhm.
And that's what sisters are for.
That's right.
That's your safe haven.
Yeah.
You can call them and you can say, look, I need to talk.
Yes.
And they know how to listen without being intrusive, without being overbearing, without trying to fix you and all the other kind of, they just listen. They hear you. They acknowledge you. They're, and once you get it all out, they're like, okay, now what we going to do next?
Yeah.
Notice I said we.
Yes.
Not
Together.
what you going to do next. What we
Together.
going to do next.
Yeah.
And that's where that's a feeling that you have. It's not just a word.
Yes.
It's a feeling that you have.
Yes.
We're going to do life together.
Yes. and you accept one another's faults as they are. They're your faults. And you may never recover from those faults.
Yeah.
And it's okay. But that other person realizes, well, I have my issues too.
Because they're going to be
and they're accepting me for my issues.
Right. Exactly.
So why can't I accept them for theirs?
Yep.
So
that's how you do longevity together, by doing life with one another, by accepting one another for who they are, and being caring enough to be able to poke just enough to pop us out of the little funk, and still we come back together and we continue to do life together.
Yes. And I heard some musicians talking about that not too long ago. It's actually a group of men, and they've been together about 25 years, which is unusual.
Yeah.
And they asked, the interviewer said, how have you stayed together for so long? And one of the guys spoke up and he said, because I know his faults, I know his faults, I know his faults, but I also know mine.
Yeah. And that makes all the difference.
And they put up with me. And if they can put up with me, I can put up with them. And that's loving each other.
Yeah.
So we love each other to life.
That's right.
And not to death.
And not to death.
You to life.
Absolutely, and I do too.
Yes. And we just go on together. We work this thing together, and we go through life together. And it's an amazing thing.
It is an amazing thing, but that's the sisterhood, the real sisterhood.
Yes, it is.
It's not the Real Housewives.
No, it isn't.
But it's the real sisterhood that actually happens between women, and we need our sisterhood.
Yes, we do.
Because boyfriends and husbands will come and go, but sisters are forever.
Yes, they are. We thank you so much for being with us again. And this has been the first edition of A Sister's Table Talk with my co-host, Pamela Burks. Again, this has been the first edition of A Sister's Table Talk with my co-host, Pamela Burks.
Yes.
I thank you for sharing this moment with me. And
my pleasure.
this adventure, this journey.
Yes.
As sisters working together on Unleash Your Beauty, Discover Your Power Within.